Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to share with you a line drawing exercise. I think this can be a very, very easy lesson. It can be a really difficult lesson. It depends on what the actual content that you're drawing is. So I'll start off really simple. I'll just draw. In fact, I won't even use a pencil because I'll just build a bit of confidence with this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to quickly draw kind of like the shape of an apple. So imagine that's an apple, I know. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start from the point where you can imagine the stalks coming out. So if the apple had a stalk like that, and we're just going to try and do contour line drawing all the way, like so, until it looks as though that's kind of like a dip. Alright? So you can see that looks like a dip. And then we're going to start from the edge here, and we're just going to do the same thing. You've seen these before on map drawings, and what they are is the wider the line, the less incline, and the closer together that the lines are, the steeper the incline. So you can see there that with those really wide... Sorry, I think that's just a little bit blurred. Let me just change that a sec. So you can see there that what I want to do is I want to just chuck another couple of lines in between like so. Just to make it a little bit busier. Always start at the edge, curve around and come in. And then you can see that apple now has a little bit of form. So what I'm going to do now, because obviously it needs to be a cross net to make it look really three-dimensional. And when I say three-dimensional, I don't mean a gorgeous finished pencil drawing. I just mean a nice net drawing. So the centre line is going to be quite straight, and then that line and that line should be curving in opposite directions. And then when they reach the side, they curve around, going off into the distance, okay? And every time that I draw a line, it goes in between the last couple of lines that I've drawn. So you see there now, it looks like the net of an apple. So I'm just going to finish off my stalk that I started before, and I'm just simply gonna put black the entire shape so that it bulks it up and that stands out from the rest. This black pen is not the best quality black pen, so bear with me because the ink doesn't come out quite as fast as a good fine liner. There you go. So you can see that I've created a net contour lining using just simple lines. Alright? Now what I plan to do is obviously take that to the next level. So that would be a simple starter task. So as you can see, it's taken me about 4 minutes. So if you lot would like to try that now, pause the video and have a go at that, please. Okay, I'll just chuck that to the side. And now I've just lightly sketched this out to prepare, because then I didn't think I'd waste as much time. So you can see here, it's kind of like the idea of a hand holding an apple, rather than just an apple. So I am going to recreate what I've just done in the centre piece here. But what I'll do is I'll turn the hand into a contour line drawing as well. So you can see that if I just go around the edge, maybe chuck a fingernail in there. You guess so that side there is now looks like a hand, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about the actual finger itself. So if you look at your hand closely, you actually have some lines already on it, you know, like where the cracks are actually curving, so you can actually get a closer look at where the contour lines do lie. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to curve like so every time I see a line, and then I'm just gonna mess that up by just putting that a little bit just in there. Notice how every time I get to the edge, I'm just curving it a little tiny bit, and I'm doing that just to make sure that the whole thing looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Alright, so now this is where it gets tricky, because here I'm going to come all the way up like that, showing, because if you look at your hand, when you tense your hand, you've got like a bit of a muscle here and a bit of a muscle here. So what I want is I want the contour to go around like that, so that you can see that it's pushing up. So if you imagine that part of the hand, the actual crease, I want to kind of come around like that, so you can see how much it's kind of curving. Look, when I tense the hand, you can see the curves. So I want to recreate that by going up and then stopping and then going over like that. And that is how I'm going to try and show that that hand is coming off. Before I start doing this, I'm just going to finish off that side there, and then I can actually see what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to go underneath my little finger there. Alright, so I like that, but it's not busy enough. So what I'm going to do, because this is the bulk of the hand, I'm just going to try and do one line in between every single line that I've done so far. This should, because I've already got the lines in there showing me where to go, shouldn't really take me that long, because I am literally filling in the gaps. So obviously this is your main work that I want you to be doing today, but then like I said, for an extension task, I want you to do the starter task 2 or 3 times, doing different fruit, different veg, and I want you to do this main task, but with your hands in multiple positions. So this task is probably going to take me about 10 minutes, I should imagine. So I would like to think that it might take you a good 15 minutes if you do try hard with it. So you can imagine that in this picture I'm holding an apple, but in another picture I could be opening my fingers up with my hand in a different position. Okay, so there you can see with my hand and my finger I've put extra lines in between every single one, and that just obviously just helps it looking a little bit busier, and we can see those shapes a little bit. So now what you can see, I've just drawn a circle, look, so that I know like where the apple was going to be. But as you can imagine, this apple here, look, that I just showed you how to draw, I'm going to try and place that in the middle of my hand. Alright, so I'm just going to draw the net like I did, like so. So that's just all the net I need, and then I'm just going to finish off these fingers. Again, just like a kind of circular kind of motion, and then you can see that I'm just going to chuck one in between every single one. Now this one's a bit tricky because I haven't actually planned this one out, and I think I'm going to be looking at my finger straight down, so I'm going to leave that one like a circle. So if you ever look at the contour lines on a map, you'll see that this little circle point here normally refers to kind of where the map, or not the map, sorry, the mountain kind of reaches its summit. So that's why I've done that with the fingers, can you see? And then, like I said previously, I'm just going to chuck an extra line in between just to make it a little bit busier. And then, which angle would it be on? I'd probably just chuck a fingernail in like that, so that we remember it's finger. Alright, and then just like those ones, do the same here. So I have tried to create these videos so that it makes it a lot easier for you working at home. So please try your hardest to chunk it up. If you are struggling with something, please don't move on to the next part until you get it right. So just keep pausing the video and going back to it, or rewatching the video, going back to it and making sure that you get every little bit right, okay? Ooh, I think I've done that one a little bit too busy, but you won't really notice when I've finished this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start here. You can see, so just once again, just to kind of give you an idea of how I've thought of this, I'm starting there and I'm working my way out to the edge and then I'm dropping it down, okay? So I'm going to actually do that on here like so. So I'm just going to start there, just going to work my way out. So that's obviously the top of the apple, and then I'm just going to kind of, when I'm starting doing my lines now, I'm just giving that little kind of curve every line I do. Like that. Okay, so it looks like he's holding an apple. Now I'm just going to put the lines in between to make it a little bit busier. And then what I am going to do here is I'm just going to take this center line, because that would be the straightest line you can see. I know it's not bang on straight, but it is about as straight as you can see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to curve on that side going that way, that side going that way, and then every single line is going to keep up with that form, but it's coming out from the center and curving around like so. Just like that. So now it's got form, it's got shape, and then like I did in the last one, I'm just going to put an apple, what do you call it? Stalk, an apple stalk just on the top. Like so. So obviously, as I explained last time, let me just grab So as I explained last time, what I really want everybody to do is make sure that you are practicing with the starter task over and over again until you're getting it right, and then hopefully it will look a little something like this if you push for that main bit. So you can see like it's just like a hand holding an apple, kind of like that, with the stalk coming out like that. You see, if I take it away. And then what I'm going to try and do here, just so that you can kind of differentiate between the apple and the hand, is I'm just going to chuck a tiny bit of colour on it, just so that the apple stands out. Now some of you might not want to put colour on because obviously, I don't know, you might not have colours or you don't think it looks good with colour. Me personally, I prefer it just to be black and white, but I'm just putting a little bit of colour on it just so that I can show some of you out there so that you're like looking at an actual object, and then the hand doesn't become the main focal point. It's more like just part of the picture surrounding the focal point, and the focal point is of course the apple. I'll just put a little bit of bright there so it looks like the highlight is blending in. So there we go. So we've got an apple. So our starter task is that we draw an apple, and then our main task is that we draw a hand holding an apple. It doesn't have to be an apple. It can be a banana. It can be a pear. It can be anything you like that you've got handy. It could even be a hammer. Like I saw a student do a hammer once that looked really good. So I mean, try different things out, okay? But that is what we're hoping to achieve today, okay? The contour line drawing of a hand holding an apple. All right, thank you.